All right, we're live.
Hello, welcome to the Punk Rock Libertarian Podcast. I'm Otto. Tonight I'm joined with Jared.
What's up, guys? Happy early Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving.
Yeah. And there's Alex. No to 300 himself.
Good to see you guys. Cheers. Happy Thanksgiving Eve.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we're doing this instead of going out partying at all the bars like all the other 20-somethings, 20-something-year-old.
Yeah, all the other 20-somethings. Yeah.
Right. Fuck that, man. This is cops sitting out there like licking their lips, ready.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna get so many $20,000, charges against these people.
Oh man, yeah.
Ah.
Just Uber, folks. Just Uber.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Or
it's not worth the risk.
Stay home and listen.
Yeah, or stay home and listen to us, or go over to your friend's house and listen to us.
Yeah. Sign up
Watch
for our
us.
Patreon, guys. Why don't you just like and follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, Twitter, X? Sorry,
all the places.
Do all these things instead of
Blue Sky. Are we on Blue Sky yet?
I was calling it Blue Sky for the longest time.
Isn't that where all the liberals are?
Yeah, if we rage quit
all the
Twitter,
Mastodon.
Dude, I kept calling it Blueski. I don't know why.
Blueski.
I just kept calling it Blueski.
Blueski Han.
I was like, sounds like some type of old-fashioned term for a blowjob or something.
The old Blueski.
Gave him the old Blueski.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come.
There you go. I just kept doing that to my wife last night. Not that, but I just kept commenting on her.
I just kept coming. I couldn't stop. I couldn't help myself.
I couldn't stop. I just kept going, I'm going to come. And I was like, or I kept telling her, like, do not come. Do not come. And even my son, it's so funny. My son,
do not come.
There you go. My son himself, like, he finds all this shit and he sends it to me. It's so funny. Like, he sent me like that. I don't know, do that Burger King one.
Dude, that shit was hilarious. Do you have it? Can you post it?
Well, yeah, I didn't see this Burger King one.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it was like
Okay,
buried. It was buried in I think a Mises chat.
Yeah, I'll find it.
I was like, holy shit, this is so based. And I think it was Sunday night, or no, it was during
It was Saturday.
Yeah, it was during the Ravens game on Monday night, and we were over at Tiara's friend's house, and she had a bunch of people over. They had crabs, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm so tired." Like Monday night, but I was like, "Yeah, it was fun." And I think that Whopper commercial came up, and I'm like, "Yo, I got to show you guys this video. Like, this is."
Can you? I sent it to the chat. Do you think you could play it from the chat? Or do you want me to send it to you?
You sent it in the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this.
Our Facebook chat. It's not Facebook. Signal chat.
Yeah, I see it. What the fuck? No, don't open
For all the feds out there, $1,000 you could sign up for the Fed level, and
sign up.
you could have access to our Signal chat. Maybe. I mean, they probably already do, but
yeah, if you're a Fed level, yeah, you definitely already have access to it. But yeah, we'll let you in voluntarily.
All right, here we go.
Backward. So this is what my son, my almost 11-year-old son, sent me on Saturday while I was at work. No, he didn't give any disclaimers. He just sent me the video.
He just said it.
Yeah, just said it.
Full said, like no context. Just
all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Whopper, 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 Whopper. Up lane hit the second. Whopper, 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 Whopper. Up lane hit the second.
Why is it cutting off though?
That's what they do in internet.
That's the aesthetic.
Now. Yeah.
That's right. Like
man.
it's so funny because like the net, what generation would that be? It's not Z. Is it
Alpha? I think
Alpha?
it is Gen Alpha. Yeah.
Your kid?
Yeah.
Your son?
Yeah, I think they all are. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she's like 12. She's like, no, I'm still technically Gen Z. I'm like, ugh, that's not something to like hold on to. Man.
Yeah, don't brag about that.
Yeah, she's like trying to fight for it, like how we used to like. My older brother used to like swear he was still Gen X. I'm like, dude, you were born in '81, man. You're not Gen X.
Well, isn't there like wait? So when is the generations? Like when is X and when is a millennial?
So Gen X, I believe, goes up to 80. I think it goes up to 1980.
Okay.
And then I think millennials like up to like 1996. Millennial.
Okay, so I'm technically Gen X, so I was born in 80.
Millennials.
So, 81. No, I was born
Let's
in
see
80.
here. Millennials is 81 to 96.
Yeah.
But that also kind of includes Gen Y. I guess Gen Y is the same thing.
Yeah, that's Gen Y.
And then Gen Z is 97 to 2012. And then,
Yeah,
Gen Alpha would be 2013.
I
How
remember
old's your
seeing-
son?
Oh, he's 11, so he was born in 2014. But my daughter was born at the
Okay.
end of 2012.
So she's cutting it close.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an article where
I mean, the whole thing's
there's
kind of
like a
stupid.
between an
Oh, yeah,
X,
so dumb.
X and millennial, because it's like, wait a minute, like I consider a millennial that grew up with the internet. So
I mean, that's the only way it really matters, right? Is like you can share, depending on where you are, like, in your economic stratum, right? Like, we all probably watched the same TV shows growing up. We probably all had the same toys growing up.
Yeah.
You know, if you lived in America and you were like middle class, then yeah, you probably had some of the same experiences. But if you lived in India and you lived in a fucking slum, like, doesn't really matter.
yeah, you didn't have the Super Mario Brothers Nintendo
Right.
NES system with Duck Hunt.
And the thing is, I grew up the youngest, and like I said, my
You got
brother was
Super
born in
Habib.
81. So I got handed down like all of their interests and stuff like that throughout the years. Like, was all handed down to me, including their clothes. So I mean, it was He-Man stuff, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is still relatively like not a lot of my friends had stuff like interests like that. So I would walk in those waters, like those 80s waters, but then also like with my friends,
I remember-
and stuff, 90s stuff.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of snuck in to the millennials.
Yeah, yeah. But like all the regular Nintendo games, like all that stuff, that's what they had. You know, and we even had an Atari.
Oh hell yeah!
So
I still have one that works.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
think
was.
I do know that. Yeah.
I think my brother has it. He has like an old TV that you can still, I think, hook it up to. But it was when I was stationed over in England. They had like a Craigslist, kind of like a Craigslist for like the interweb, and a lot of people leaving or just selling stuff before, you know, hey, I'm done maintaining Empire over here. I'm selling stuff. They would post it in there, and this guy was like, "Hey, I got an Atari and like 30 some games." I'm like, "No shit." And I was like, "What the hell? Might as well." And it had all
That's cool.
those. Yeah, it's like, holy shit, it still works. It's amazing.
Yeah, I built one of those like Raspberry Pi emulator things. And it's like you can fit every game ever made on like a 200 gigabyte card, you know?
That's so crazy how
And you still have like plenty of space.
right? How like you had to have that the cartridges, you had to blow them, and like you had that big boxy system, and now it's like all the games that were ever created can all like fit on. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of look at it like the generations is kind of like, did you grow up with the internet, or did you have the internet growing up, or did you kind of have to learn, you know? And I kind of consider like that's where I kind of see like the difference between like Gen X and like millennials. It's like, did you grow up in like an analog age? Like, did you still have to like,
Or did you grow up in like the cool internet stage, you know?
Yeah, that too.
Or did you grow up after it became gay?
Yeah. Where you could watch Faces of Death, you know, like a
like
12-year-old
back when you had
like
original.
like,
yeah, like did you experience original E-Bombs World and like original Maddox? Or have you experienced like Facebook and like the stupid version of Maddox that we have now?
I don't know what that is.
The neoliberal version of. You don't remember Maddox?
Nah.
He's like the angriest guy on the internet. He would write those articles. He'd come out with like a little article every like few months, and it's just him like ripping on something. But back then it was like awesome because it was like, I don't know, it was really awesome. But now he's kind of like just become just like an internet liberal. I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah, I remember the first internet thing was like. I think it was Windows 95. I was like maybe I was 10 years old, starting to figure out the internet. Or they'd send you those AOL CDs in the mail, like, and you had to try it out. And we did that. We tried it, me and my brothers, and we typed in the search bar. We typed in Playboy, and like, it came up with a result, and we thought we were going to get in trouble, and we ran away from the computer. That's my earliest. And then I played Doom on PC like all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just connecting to the internet, constantly getting yelled at. Like my dad was expecting a call or a fax. A fax needed to come through.
The fax machine, yeah.
Like, I'm expecting a fax. Get off the internet.
Dude, I spent so much time on the internet when I was a kid.
But
it was like so cool because it was like, aside from porn, it was like you had actual like websites, like distinct websites with like their own character and their own like cool shit to offer, and it wasn't all just like Facebook pages and like people trying to sell shit. Like no one made any money on the internet back then, unless you were
I would read ghost stories. Like we would find like internet. Me and my uncle like would find ghost stories to read us on the internet on his thick ass laptop on his kitchen table when we'd spend the night over his house. Like he'd have like to open up this. I mean, this thing was probably like 9 inches thick. This like original laptop from like 1994, and he would like look up these cool ghost stories to tell us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember there was this website / I think it was like a original like Chrome extension or browser extension, and it was called Stumble Upon, and you would just click on it. It would just take you to like a random website on the internet, and it might have like whatever, dude. It could be something about like philosophy, or it could be about like
that had potential to be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean it was, but it was fun because like it would actually take you somewhere cool. Potentially, but like now, eventually it just started just taking you like ads and taking you like marketing shit. You're just like, okay, the internet sucks now. The internet is dead.
Right.
So speaking of, I don't know. That's
old man yells at the sky.
Yeah, the internet, it's over. So man, we missed a lot last week. Topics, and then just this past week, because last episode was like Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah.
Like autism to the max.
Sorry about all that autism, like with stuff. But
I mean, it was great. I mean, it was like, I mean, these are things like, the CBDC and all this is like that was, a lot of, But after a while, I'm like, oh, I can only take so much. And what's wild,
and he was.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really like push him on anything at the time because I did think a lot of what he was saying was really interesting. Like someone to really lay out the potential horrors of CBDC. But I don't know, the way he was portraying some of that shit wasn't exactly accurate. Like the block size wars, like he's painted it like, oh, it's this big conspiracy from like, Epstein and his pals and shit. It's like, dude, it was an actual like debate that happened over like a year with like good people on both sides, like it wasn't like he was trying to make it out to be, but still interesting perspective. I'm not selling my Bitcoin though, if I had any.
I don't know. Even after Kramer,
whatever. Fuck Kramer, dude.
It's so funny that it actually dove.
It did. Yeah. I mean, it was gonna pull back anyways. It went up like what, like 50%, or I mean, it went almost like up like 100% since like. I don't know. I don't have it up right now.
Yeah, do we have that? I think we'd
6 months ago.
We'd have to scroll back in the chat, but that Kramer clip. Holy shit! Like, how did he do it? Anything he touches, and yet he still has a show. Like, how is he still relevant?
Who watches that?
I know, right?
That's what I'm curious. Like, who is?
Yeah, I mean, who sits around and watches CNBC aside from like Shark Tank, which is a cool show, but like, who's watching the market channels? Like, no real person that's involved in stock trading is watching that shit, right? They're actually getting like real research, like research that costs you like $100,000 a year, not like some dude yelling at the camera. Like, I don't know who that's for. People who are wannabe traders, I guess. I really don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I just see like these shows. I'm just like, what? How can you do? Like, speaking of which, like speaking of people I don't understand, Rachel Maddow apparently had an awesome freak meltdown.
Oh,
nice.
You gotta play this. So it's a very visual video, but for people listening, which probably won't be you because Jared won't ever put out the podcast. But
Heyo.
zing. Yeah. So.
Well, hey, the video goes right up. I don't have to do anything.
That's true. But if I was saying, I was just trying to explain it to the podcast listeners.
Yeah.
Which I used to be a part of.
So this was just
So
recently. She's signing off at the end. Of the show.
She's upset because Elon Musk posted an image or meme of like the I guess it's the monk being tempted by like the whore in the barn, and he's like. You just press play. I'll have to explain it to you as you get there.
Yeah, we'll just watch it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. To at least 3.
Words.
Can we put up
Say
the graphic of this?
Oh, there it is. So pause it real quick, Jared. So yeah, it's the image for those listening. It's the whore in the barn with the MSNBC logo on her ass, and the monk. It's hard to read. What's this? It says like.
Is it a monk or is it Jesus?
No, it looks like a saint or a monk.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Someone
Yeah.
like But
It says
Elon Musk, yeah.
It says, "And lead us not into temptation." And it's got like the whore is MSNBC, and then it says Elon Musk trying not to buy. And then the caption is this real, dude?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Elon Musk posts dangerous meme.
Well, clearly, like MSNBC is a bunch of prudes, and they don't understand meme culture. So,
Well, the danger is that he might actually buy them.
dude, that'd be awesome.
Can we put up the graphic of this? I think I'm gonna have to hand this off. Yeah.
She's
Sorry.
starting to cry.
That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. No. Oh.
I can't believe that's real, dude.
It's real.
She's just
Dude,
crying about a meme that. No,
Yes.
I don't think so, dude.
Yeah, the
I'd look it
derangement,
up.
dude. The
You
derangement's real.
fact check us, Jamie.
Yeah.
I might have to fact check you.
Fact
Go
check it.
for it.
I mean, not right at this moment.
No,
Oh,
fact
I
check
thought
in
you were
real
gonna. I was
time.
like, go do it.
Oh,
I'm
that'd
telling
be
you, it's
great.
real.
No,
I mean, I wouldn't put it past her, but
dude, how based? I mean, I think I retweeted it. It was, and it was basically just Alex Jones behind the MSNBC desk or behind Rachel Maddow's desk. It was just soon. How base would that be? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Infowars. Yeah. Nope.
Well,
now it's
you
on
guys-
MSNBC.
You saw how like they couldn't sell Infowars because the judge stopped it, the sale of it to the Onion.
oh,
Yeah,
a judge
yeah.
stopped it.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
it-
because
they
it was
didn't-
fraudulent.
Yeah. They didn't
Why?
go
What was
through
fraudulent
an
about it?
honest process of bidding. You were supposed
It
to like auction, and they didn't do it. The Onion just came in and bought it, and they were like, "Wait a minute, no, this wasn't a real." According to the story, again, you can fact check me.
Apparently,
I mean-
people were outbidding it. Apparently, there was someone like some millionaire or something that was like out that kept the bids up, or I don't know. I was listening to No Agenda and they were explaining it, but anyways, the whole auction process was fraudulent, and then the media ran with it, and so therefore all null and void. Hey, we have our surprise guest.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stage, Olga.
Hello.
What's up, Olga?
What's up, Olga?
Oh no!
Wait, you going? Wait, where'd you
No.
go? Oh no!
What happened?
Oh
What, that
no!
wasn't us.
No, I don't think so.
You guys notice the discrepancy in views when Babs is not on? This is so annoying.
Hmm.
He's the show, everyone. Behind the scenes.
Hold on, here we go. It says judge says he must still approve sale of Infowars to the Onion. A federal judge said Monday he may hold an evidentiary hearing next month to help determine whether to approve the sale of Alex Jones Media Company to the Onion.
Hmm.
It remains in limbo after the auction. Yeah, I don't know. All right, she's back. There we go.
Hey, Olga.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Happy, Thanksgiving Eve.
Happy.
How are you?
cooking?
What's new?
Are we cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah, is Otto, are you making the turkey yet, dude? You put that in the oven
No.
yet?
No, I'm doing Thanksgiving on Friday, so
Friday.
We did-
in
we-
the fridge.
Oh, nice. We did Thanksgiving last weekend, actually.
What?
Yeah, my brother came into town,
That's
So-
Oh, okay.
so we got
Olga,
out
what
of
do you
the
got
way.
planned? What do you got going on up there in Vermont?
Well, I killed the turkey, so
Nice.
Nice.
I raised
Metal.
it. It's resting. Actually, yeah, my cousin's doing turkey. I'm gonna do pernil, which is basically Puerto Rican roast pork tomorrow. And then we do a Friendsgiving gathering, usually like the Saturday after. So I'm gonna do one of my homegrown turkeys for that. We'll have a bunch of people over the homestead.
Nice.
Nice.
So kind of reeling from like this week of kind of the wrap up of the announcements of the cabinet. And then it was pretty cool today to see some of the new picks and just all the squabbling, of course, the internal, external LP crap that always plays out on Twitter, on X.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous. We were gonna get into a lot of that because we didn't get a chance to really talk about it last week. We did a 9-hour election stream the night of the election. That was
Right.
So, but we haven't really reacted since. So yeah, we can get into that. Jared, do we have the? And I don't know. Otto disappears, of course. Let's see. So we have Angela's video. Oh no, it's all good. So
yeah, I got it up.
Otto, do you want to set this up?
Yeah, so she was on. I forget. This was that. Oh yeah. It was the Twitter Spaces with Dave Smith about she sell out? By supporting Trump.
Well, it was Dave asking if he sold out, and he opened it and he let he kind of did an intro, and then he let Chase speak for a few minutes, and then Angela just came right on right after that, and it was epic.
Let's listen.
Critics, and I want to address them even more so than I want to address Chase. I think the goalposts have shifted considerably in the cabinet conversation. I want to remind everyone that Trump never promised an entirely libertarian administration. Those of you pointing and screeching about every single pick, it's not correct. I have repeatedly said we will only get only one cabinet position and positions underneath that. No one promised you a better GOP either. I said we will get one and we will have to keep fighting for more every election cycle. And I also said that if Trump only keeps one promise, if he only frees Ross, it will still be a win and the most progress we have ever made at the federal level. Fact. Now, I will say that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. joined the party as a lifetime member. He joined
Chase with the thumbs down.
He joined as a lifetime member. Kennedy is our guy, like it or not. He's putting our people into the administration. The man joined the party. He sought our nomination. He didn't get it. And
what's that?
So yeah, I mean, it's just so for those listening, like Chase is literally it's on a Twitter space, and he gave the thumbs down emoji. and of course, what was that, Olga?
That's so passive aggressive because I listened to this Twitter space on Monday. I listened to the whole thing, and so I heard his take on it, which was basically kind of just trying to re-explain his campaign and just the same kind of criticisms. And he's very well spoken, and he tries to come off like very well-rounded or approachable to everyone, and then he just does these, and then on his own he just seems to do kind of these passive aggressive, like just now with this, and if you prefaced it with his thing and him and Dave's interaction, which was very cordial, very neutral, and then it's he does this stuff or he tweets or whatever, or he has the people that kind of are the Chase, always Chase, whatever. It's just so passive aggressive, and but everything that Angela's saying is 100% correct. And the thing is, I don't know everything about politics, but I'm learning. And what I do understand is there's way more happening behind the scenes that we can ever imagine. I mean, that happens on a state level. And those of us who are involved in any type, defend the guard stuff, we know all the crap that goes on behind the scenes. It's a level of politics and 3D, 4D chess that you have no idea about. So what's happening on this scale, most people have no idea how this works. It's dirty. And so the people critiquing it are it's so immature. it's so immature, and it's like they want to have this utopian ideal,
Mhm.
and this purist perception of like how things should be, and it's like, okay, either we're really working on advancing liberty wherever we can get it, or we're just going to sit in like our little white ivory towers, or aka our basements, and do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our cars.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, Chase, why don't you concern yourself with getting a new laptop? Okay. How about that?
And it's not like, my thing isn't with him necessarily, because I don't know. I mean, I guess he ran for governor in his state, and I don't know what other stuff he does, but just kind of like generally this idea that it's just like, how blind can you be? We had major people for the first time ever, political candidates and major, like, literally show up at the convention. And they've continually had this relationship. And I guess it's just like, they just don't like the people that are, interacting. If it was, I guess, Sarwalk or whatever, maybe they'd be happy with it. I don't think they would be such purists if it was the people,
if it was
the
their
old
people,
guard,
yeah.
perhaps.
Let's
Yeah,
continue
I mean,
on. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, just press play. No, just press play.
After that, he joined as a lifetime member. After he lost our nomination, he's gone to bat for me and for all of us with the incoming administration. I'm going to bat for him right now. And he had leverage, by the way, because he dropped out and endorsed Donald Trump. That's why he and his team are at Mar-a-Lago right now, going to bat for libertarians against the bad actors in the Senate and AIPAC and all the other people who are pressuring to try to push us out. And I am so grateful for him.
Wait, RFK's anti-APAC now?
I wouldn't say
You
that.
said?
No, I mean, Israel wins everything. I think it's kind of just like the neocon AIPAC people. Like, he's challenging because he's challenging the AIPAC neocons. You know what I mean? Like the ones in
the bad
we
actors.
don't want. Yeah.
work that he's doing and the ground he's forging for us. And this is one of the reasons also that I have so aggressively defended the LNC's decision to engage in a joint fundraising agreement with him, which we are still doing. I have, by the way, already done reference calls for some of the libertarians who have applied to be in the administration and filled out many applications and referrals myself. That is happening, and a lot of those picks are up to Kennedy himself. Go ahead and scream. Go ahead and scream that Kennedy isn't the one true libertarian. It's not good enough that he displayed moral courage during a national crisis where our two most recent LP presidential candidates were wearing masks and talking about social distancing, outdoor-only events, taking the Fauci ouchie.
Facts.
You are all possessed. You
Right.
know, and I want to say, you know, I'm speaking to my critics right now. You suffer from ideological paralysis. You are possessed by a very unproductive demon, shackled down in paralysis and unable
That's
to move
powerful.
because you can't find the purely libertarian path forward. That's not how politics works. Who here has ever tried to get a job in the administration?
I mean, that makes sense, right? It's like if you're going to engage in politics, then you have to play the political game.
Right.
Like, it's one thing if you're like, I'm anti-politics, I don't want nothing to do with politics. Then, like, yeah, you should be you should be as ideologically pure as you can be. But if you're playing the game, like, you can't. It's just not going to work.
And to Jared's point, you're probably also not involved in a political party.
Yeah.
And party politics, right? Because then, like, how would that necessarily make sense? Like, if you're going to be like this pure whatever. Interestingly, one of the critics that Dave had on, and I think it's like Agorist, I can't remember his name. He kind of went on that trope as well of, like, you know, the ideological purity train. And it's kind of like, you know, yeah, you guys can do that, but like, that's not the game we're playing. Like, Mises Caucus Takeover was really about, like, how do we get practical real life gains through this mechanism that we have that is the LP right now. And that's what we're working towards. That's why, like, we're doing all this coalition work and all of this, you know, decentralized revolution. And we got, I mean, I don't know if it's luck, but this wasn't something that I don't think we were necessarily planned on getting. Yeah, more people need the pizza demon than the other one. I don't think we're necessarily thinking, you know, as a political party, that we were going to become so engaged on the national level and have this impact I think just the fact that, you know, all of these major players on the national level are even talking about, you know, the IRS, and, you know, we have Doge, and we have all of these, like, clearly our message has infiltrated. It's infiltrated. You know, you have Dave Smith, you have Michael Malice, you have all of these people that are on like on Joe Rogan. I mean, the message is getting out there. It's seeping its way in.
100%. Yeah, it's I tweeted it's some goofy, and he's a total Chase Oliver fanboy. And he's down in Georgia. I'm not even going to mention his name, but he just posted a picture of Angela and total failure. Just and I just responded via PRL. I was like, okay, free Ross, free Roger Ver, avoiding World War III, a Secretary of Defense on board with Defend the Guard, which he said that literally was on Fox and Friends and was just like, I think states should have control of their guard and they shouldn't be sent off to war. And it's like, holy shit. This is Secretary of Defense. We've gone from like Rumsfeld, like neocon central, to someone who's actually like,
wait, this was Rubio?
No. Pete Hegseth. I'll find it if I have it. But I was like, you have a Secretary of Defense on board with Defend the Guard, RFK possibly dismantling HHS, Big Pharma, corporate capture of healthcare, Ron Paul consulting Elon and Vivek on Doge. But you're being a Lolbert party purist goofy.
Yeah.
You know, like, take these fucking wins. Like, we haven't been this influential, our ideas in the realm of politics ever. Like, this is big. Yeah. You know, so, but let's continue on with what Angela has to wrap
Who
this
here
up.
helped me vet candidates for a cabinet position? Who made calls and gave me names? Only a few of you. Thank you to those of you who did. Do not complain about the cabinet position if you do not help us try to achieve it. At least don't complain about the work that I've done. If you sat on the sidelines and sulked, don't complain. I don't want to hear it. It is very hard to get confirmation. Yes, I want Corey DeAngelis in there to shut down the Department of Education. Remember what happened to Kavanaugh in the Senate confirmation. It is an absolute crucible. You don't get a cabinet position by waiting for someone who publicly promised it to materialize it for you. You get it by fighting for it. I'm communicating with people at Mar-a-Lago every day. I am calling senators, contacting every person of influence I know, vetting and giving references to get our people in the administration. This sort of attitude is why the left wins. They take their wins, they celebrate them, and then they immediately keep fighting, and they never stop.
Yep.
So what she said there has never been more proven to me than me working with essentially the decriminalized nature of Maryland. These people are so, like, they're all a bunch of socialists, like I work with. Like, I mean, and they're really nice people, but they are so determined. Like, we've been at this for 4 years, and they show up to every weekly meeting, bi-weekly meeting they show up for. And so there's now a task force. All we were reduced to in legislation was to be able to get a task force put together to, determine the, the efficacy of this on our, of legalizing psilocybin in our state. Or not even like decriminalizing. It's just, and they're in it. They're in every single task force meeting. They're every one of these meetings, and slowly, and they just keep going. And it's like, I don't know one libertarian. Like, I barely even hanging on. I don't know any other libertarian that would hang on like to this thing. So it's like, that's why they win. They're so ever present, and they don't stop. And they organize.
Well, they also don't have jobs.
No, these people have jobs. They do. These people have jobs.
Yeah.
But like, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy to think like these leftists, this is what they do. This is why they win. This is why every time I'm in this meeting.
To that, Otto, it's like on the one hand, well, something that Angela said that I was like, they celebrate their wins. They celebrate the wins they don't even have yet. So like, kudos to that. But they enjoy bureaucracy too. Like, they can get into bureaucracy.
Oh.
And I think that's, like, we tend to hate that. Like, we're like, no, I don't want to deal with that. And so, like, there is a type of personality, I think, that is drawn to kind of this, centralized type of work. They're probably, maybe they work in some type of bureaucratic work themselves. So they have the energy for it. They have the spirit for it. But
like, they also tend to view, and like, I guess libertarians do this too, but I've hung out with a lot of leftists. My baseball team is like all leftists, and like they view everything through that lens. Like everything is just through this lens of like, worker rights and
Struggle.
and all that stuff. And it's like it helps keep them consistent in their effort when they actually do shit. Whereas like, I don't know, libertarians, we do that to a degree, but I guess we also just kind of don't. At times we kind of just live our lives. But anyways,
You keep playing.
oops, I didn't want to widescreen that shit. Yeah. there we
So
go.
many of you guys are just ready and excited to lose. It's like you want to lose, and and then at the same time, you're so afraid of losing that you can't even play the game. I think some of you, like, with all due respect, you need to get hit in the face with a soccer ball. I mean, I'm charging into battle with a sword, and you're sitting on the side and you're saying you can't fight because, like, your socks are dirty. It's just the most ideologically, like, dead position anybody could take. I'm fighting neocon senators, AIPAC, special interest groups, literal intel agencies, and you're bitching at me on the internet and moving the goalpost saying this was supposed to be an entirely libertarian administration. You can certainly complain, but don't make shit up. And don't complain at me when you whine and sit on the sidelines doing nothing. I'm going into DC to lop off some heads. You guys are bitching like a woman who broke a nail. You can't lift your sword because you might break your libertarian ideology fingernail. If you want to win politics, you have to fight for your position and you have to keep fighting. It is not a social club. What it has morphed into is wrong. It should not be a social club. Politics is a vicious Game of Thrones world with shifting alliances, powerful outside forces, and it calls for courageous men and women. We have a crisis of leadership in this party and this movement. There are two men in this party, I'm going to say, that I have tremendous respect for, even though they hate each other, ironically. And that's Maj Touré and Jeremy Kauffman. They are not afraid of shit. Maj is a man. He is not afraid of shit. He is not afraid of conflict. He knows how to fight. He knows how to deal with confrontation. Jeremy Kauffman, not afraid of shit. He will say whatever he believes. He'll go to battle for it. He will say some wild shit about politicians on social media, have feds knocking on his door, and he will tell them to fuck off on camera and humiliate them. When Trump was shot, why did he just throw his fist up in the air and refuse to go down? Because you never signal weakness and you've always got to fight. And that's a lesson that we need to learn. We've got to show courage. And I'm going to continue to fight because I got a fighting spirit. So instead of bitching and complaining, I invite you all to pick up your swords and join me in this battle.
And go clean your room.
Nice. And go clean your room.
You know what it is? Like Angela said, since she's become a mom, like I love the transformation. It's the same thing that's happened with Candace Owens. It's like motherhood. Something happens to you where you're like, oh, wait a minute. And you're just like, you have no fucks to give. So I love
And
that
you see, like,
energy.
the Jews all
Really,
along.
yeah, and that energy is so hardcore in her speech right there of like, you guys need to hear this and I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And a lot of the reactionary stuff that's coming from people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to clean their room. It's just, like the toddlers, like they just want, it's like the Democrats when they lost, it's like they just want to scream. They just want to point it it's everyone else's fault. I'm the victim. And it's just pathetic. It's pathetic, but it's embarrassing because we have this space where we can communicate with one another. And so many people are looking at us at like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because they feel like all of these weirdos. And it's like, we're fighting each other when we should be like, okay, we need more strength here. Like, what can we do? Like, oh, this guy's running as a libertarian in Matt Gates's district now for that congressional seat. Like, what can we, like, no one's, thinking about that. Everyone's just too busy complaining or, wasting this energy.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, well, fuck it. I'll say their name. 2 individuals in Florida, been on our show a couple times. But yeah, just bitch, moaning, and complaining, And a lot of these people are quote unquote, ANCAPs, but they get so pissed off about like, oh, Angela this or that, or oh, these cabinet picks. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's in your own state, just like you said, Olga. Like, here's a congressional race. The fuck are you doing?
Help this guy.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
right.
I'm really getting tired of it. And yeah, like you said, I think it it does turn a lot of people off when they see all this like bullshit online. And I mean, you know, I'm guilty because I like to dunk on these retards too. And after a while, it's just like, but I don't like. I
take the blame for it.
Yeah, and then it's funny because
you know what, Alex?
I don't.
You actually do real work in the real world. Like you are out there busting your butt for your job, but also for like defend the guard, and you know what I mean. So it's just like, yeah. I mean, I think part of it too is like I know who you're referring to. So some of those folks kind of, I noticed they jump on whatever the bandwagon is.
Grifters, yes.
Yeah. So when the bandwagon is, oh, the Mises Caucus is like on this wave, like let me ride with them for a little bit. And as soon as that seems to be like this isn't working, or the bandwagon is like, oh, everyone's shitting on Angela, let me jump on that bandwagon. And I just like look at them and I'm just like, I don't even.
Yeah. Well, that's when your only job is like a podcaster. That's kind of what you've gotten yourself into, right? I mean, when you don't have other shit going on, it's like, well, I gotta figure out how to maintain an audience, and
that's
I guess this is where the wind's blowing.
With those,
we don't have an audience, so we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck about that shit.
Right. With those two individuals in particular, I don't know. I diagnose it as like it's an ego thing. Like they go around literally saying they created the word they created the phrase taxation is theft. Like they go around saying and like not even like acting like no, like they say they did. And it's like an ego thing. It's like when someone else is getting more attention than them, it's or more progress more, it's like they have to like shit on them. I don't know. I just it sucks because it's like I think what they're doing is valuable too. Like what everyone does on the side of their own thing, but it's just like, why am I going to bring down what other people are doing? Because I sure as fuck doing like busting my ass like all the time with stuff. Like, yeah, I sit on meetings and I do what I can on the LNC, but I'm like full support of Angela and the Mises Caucus. Like that's just where it is. They have the momentum they're doing, and that's why you notice all of our donations are drying up. And it's pretty much by design. It's people like it's the people who had the money were the one that raised all this money. Like, well, we used to have this. We used to do this income. I said, yes, because you had like neocons essentially, funding the party, and they're shit libs now, and they took their money and went home. And like they try to make fun of me for that. Like when our Discord got leaked and all this, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, all these people. Like they went home. Like we don't have this money anymore. Like it's not there anymore, and it never will be there anymore. It doesn't matter what we do. So it's like we need to scale down the size. Like that was my point. It's like scale down the size of expectations, scale down the size of our events. We have to scale it back because we're just not going to have that flow of money anymore because we're not keeping this party like a Bill Weld face of the party.
The Beltway donors don't like.
They don't like us. And I'm glad they don't give their fucking money.
Right, exactly. Like they don't like real stuff happening. They liked when it was kind of like, oh, the little cocktails and they can feel a little edgy with their leather jackets. Like, yeah, I'm edgy or something.
They could launder their money.
Yeah, with their weird, but it's kind of like the streets took over. Sorry. The streets are here and we're tired. And there's just there's so many different people now that are engaged in the party. I mean, you have like moms, you have, homesteaders, you have a lot of medical freedom people. Just kind of, it's a different vibe now from a lot of what used to be. And people don't like that. People don't like change.
And people just want to freak out about they're saying all these things like, oh, he said he was going to put a top libertarian in his administration. Like, what? Do you really I'm glad you think that libertarians are the reason why Donald Trump won. I'm glad you think that. Like, cool. But that's not our push isn't why we won. But the fact that they're still catering to us, even if he's pandering, he came to our convention to lie to our face. He felt that he didn't just say what's a libertarian. I don't even know who. I don't reckon. He saw us as a demographic that he had to appease to, and that's a sign. That was a signal. And then now we have Jay Bhattacharya is now
that's awesome
in the administration. What? And that's all the influence of these podcasters who we've become friends with. And I would say I mean Dave Smith and and they're now talking to Ron Paul. Doge is talking,
Let's say how much of that do you think is how much of that credit can be given to Ron Paul? I mean, Trump's not an idiot. He probably saw what happened in like 2008 and 12 and was like, there's a sizable demographic that was voting for Ron Paul.
Yeah.
And he obviously got fucked over by the GOP. But like those people are still out there.
And I don't think it's necessarily like him. I think
his advisors or whatever the fuck.
I think his children play
Yeah.
a huge role just from like looking at them on social media. I think they're more like our generation, and I think they're much more hip. And the other thing is, one thing is the big L libertarian. There's way more small L libertarians, and I think it's that generalized block that we're part of and that we're plugged into because of our messaging through social media and podcasting. And I think that is what brought all of these people to the table. It's not like the whatevers that show up at the convention. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I went to a convention. Like, I get that. But I don't think like that's who it was. I think it was that and this general larger group that identifies themselves as libertarians, that they identify with a lot of libertarian ideals, that they're not necessarily party members, but they are following, I mean, if you look at, our big folks out there, like their big social media, I mean, these guys have like hundreds of thousands, millions of people following them. They're on social media, they're getting on these larger platforms, and people are listening. And I think it's kind of that outer small L group that they're like, wow, we need to kind of appeal to these folks because these people are onto something. Like, they're definitely connected with a larger zeitgeist. And I think that's the big push. And I think, I when I first heard Angela say like RFK Jr. is our guy, he's libertarian, he's the lifetime member, I was just like, okay, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. But the more I think about it, I'm like, kudos to fucking us. I mean, I remember when he was at PorcFest, and even before PorcFest, I mean, he was having a lot, and his people were having a lot of conversations with the New Hampshire folks, and really
he also spoke at the Ron Paul Institute in like 2021, the DC conference I went to.
Yeah,
like he spoke there, and
that was base, dude. That was I remember we were sitting in the back table, and this is like it's always in Northern Virginia, Olga. So and I just was, this is the height of COVID, and yet everybody's there. It was the unmasking liberty. That was the theme, and not a single mask, and the whole thing. Ron Paul spoke, Thomas Massey spoke, Daniel McAdams. I forget who else. Who else was there, Otto?
Joe Salerno.
Yep, I think. But basically, when Robert F. Kennedy came in, full security detail, fully armed, they had 2 to 3 in the back, 2 in either side of the stage, and it's like, this shit's real. Like, you know what I mean? Unlike the Lulberts on the internet, it's like this guy has some real fucking enemies, and he needs to be guarded at all costs. Like, that's when I was like, this shit's fucking real, because he's going after the pharmaceuticals. He's going after the big, like,
and his family doesn't exactly have the best track record of staying alive.
That too, but the fact that like he's in a realm that is going after the major revenue source of the propaganda machine, which is if it wasn't for pharmaceuticals, the mainstream media is dead. It's already dead. The only thing keeping it on life support is big pharma. That's it. And he's going after it, and he's being appointed. And it's like, that was wild in 2021. Otto and I, and like a bunch of us in like the Mises Caucus and a bunch of people, just like Liberty people here in the area, were like, this shit's real. Like that's when, but
my point is like, he's definitely been moving into our direction. Like, it's not the opposite. And so, and I think a lot of people, like clearly like Elon Musk, like Vivek Ramaswamy, when he went to PorcFest, like a lot of us were speaking with him, and he was so receptive. I mean, and, kind of like, some interesting dialogue and debates of like him getting challenged on some stuff. And it's like, he was like, I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that. And like, people were giving, and you know what? He did. And he really has shifted, I think, his positions into a direction that are much more libertarian. And I mean, I'm really excited generally about this larger coalition. And I think that's the think that a lot of these folks are just, they're missing the point.
Mhm.
It's not about like, oh, we want to stay in our little cubby. It's like, no, like we're trying to build this broader movement. And guess what? We are going to connect with people that don't agree with us 100% on everything. Like the four of us in this room probably couldn't agree to like 100% of everything either. That's kind of not the point. The point is like, how can we start shifting and one of the things that has to get shifted is the messaging and getting out there and the policies. And it's just like, we've gotten a lot done in a short amount of time. And I think part of it is we're just frustrated. It's like, what more do you people want? Like, can you join us and like help build this momentum even more? But then I'm always just like, it's feds, COINTELPRO. Like, part of it is that.
Yeah.
So Chase is a Fed.
No, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that.
I mean, we put in.
I think he'd be a bit better funded if he was a Fed.
Yeah.
I think
he'd have a laptop, right?
Angela like talks about. There's certainly like a COINTELPRO spirit that is amongst like that. There's an energy there, and
A spirit, yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Possessed.
Need you only need like one or two people that are actually paid to do something, and a lot of people are just useful tools.
Useful idiots, yeah.
It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
Yeah, we did some full error requests, and the FBI and the CIA, or I forget which one it was, but they literally said they couldn't confirm or deny because it's as a matter of national security whether they had people working inside the Libertarian Party.
Ah.
So there were people working inside the Libertarian
So there's
Party.
people working in the Libertarian Party. It's like what? Like, huh? Like you would be like, no, it's a political organization. We don't delve into political organization unless we receive credible threats. No, it was
I mean,
just we can
yeah.
confirm or deny.
There's absolutely times when they would say no, like we don't do that, right? Like if I was like, "Are you spying on my
Punk rock
brother?"
libertarians.
Yeah, punk rock libertarians would be like, "Nah, dude, you've got like,
They're like,
yeah, who?" Yeah. Oh man, that's not surprising. But I wonder who it is. I mean, Sarwark for sure, but aside from him,
He's I don't know how much I can say, but I'll just say I was on a meeting
Just
with
say it.
him. He was unfortunate. I was unpleasure. He was on a few-hour meeting with him the other night for the LNC, and he was clearly not there on our side, and he was just seeing him. He just looks like such an aged lesbian now. Like he has.
Does he like engage? Does he like appeal to like Robert's rules or something in those meetings, or is he just listening? Is he just there? Like
no, he was talking, doing lawyer bits. I don't know how much I can say about
lawyer
that.
okay.
bits.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Wait,
yeah,
is he on the
like,
LNC? still?
No. He was there on behalf of someone else who was
Suing the LNC?
maybe. I can either confirm or deny that.
So it's confirmed.
Yeah. So I was just like, he was listening to me. He's got like these thick glasses, and he literally looked like an age lesbian.
Looks like Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
why does everyone end up looking like her? That's awful. Like
Yeah.
Great.
They all look like an aged lesbian. Yeah.
And by the way, like just since you went down that tangent, like who is expecting that whole chapter to go down with Karen? I don't want to just open that, but like that's wild to me that whole thing is going on. But again, like it's kind of like this energy that gets put to not being efficient, which is why kind of goes back to like who benefits that, and like who's done that in the past where they get involved with organizations and they make them infight and again you have people who are obsessed with bureaucracy, right? And that slows things down already.
And it's like I'm glad Angela came up. I think it was Angela. I don't remember who came up with the phrase, but someone came up with the phrase like it's their model UN. That's what it is to them. I would just say it was like their outlet to feel important. Like they feel like they're doing something. And we're really like, we took over their model UN and we blocked them out of it. We started doing things the way they didn't like to be done. And they are fucking losing their mind.
I mean,
all they can think about is just party, like, oh my gosh, the party, Robert's rules. Oh my God. And they freak. And
I mean, you can tell who these people are. Like,
oh yeah.
Like when I went to the MDLP convention with you guys as an observer, and I was just observing like there are just some people who just get so into just the minutia of the Robert Rules bullshit, or just every little thing has to be like questioned. And yeah, I mean, it's like Model UN. It's just, you know, your parents didn't pay attention to you enough when you were a kid. Like, it's all that shit just wrapped into just
you didn't get a
awful shit.
volleyball flung in your face, Jared. Like,
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You hit the face
really
by a
happened
soccer
to
ball.
yeah.
Gotta get hit in the
Whatever
face
it
with a
was.
soccer ball.
That was
Yeah.
awesome. That wakes, that does something to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
Make
got hit in the face
bullying
a lot-
great
a lot
again.
with soccer balls.
Bring
Giggity.
back bullying.
Bring back
Yeah.
bullying. I don't know, man, but
But don't you
Yeah.
see, like,
I was like, this is
freaked out.
extremely boring to me. So like, I don't know what is wrong with
I
these
feel
people.
like there's a part of me that, like, okay, I kind of enjoy this. It kind of taps into some autistic things, but when it comes down to it, if you weren't miserable at the convention in DC, you might be a
I was
Fed.
miserable.
I'm just you might just be a Fed. Like the people that were there, I had to go. I was like, I'm not even showing back up for the LNC meeting. I'm supposed to show up the next day because I hate all of you. Like, I'm so done with that shit.
Yeah,
I
I
was
skipped all
so
those parts of the
fucking
LNC, and I just saw
Yeah,
the
man.
good bits.
Right, and exactly. If there
I
was
mean,
very
even
little,
that should probably be re-examined of how much actually has to happen at the convention as opposed to the convention. I feel like should be really laser focused on as little as that stuff as possible, because it's almost it's impossible to get it done on
Mhm.
that level. It's just not, and it lends itself to this type of
Circus.
container,
Sucker.
like where you just have people that are just that they just kind of utilize this moment to show off and to delay things and whatever. There has to be stuff that just can be like allocated more, like where it happens off that, and the convention can really stick to like serious stuff,
Yeah, we also need to start, honestly, like, I'm just gonna say it.
especially when it's an election year. Like, that's nonsense.
Right.
Gotta physically remove people from microphones.
You know, and you got no, Alex. No, we need to like fucking be able to boot people from the party. Just be like, you are not welcome here. You are not a member anymore.
Go full hobby and
Like, like you're just you're a bad actor, and we don't want to associate with you. Right. Like, there just needs to have that mechanism in the party, and like things go so much smoother when those people are removed from the situation. Yeah,
Brian's
Brian.
here.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Brian.
He's our enforcer.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm just we're fed up, man. Like, there's just something's got to give, because in order, like, why has the party been such a fucking failure for 50 years? Like, it's a lot of these people who now.
Dude, I'm kind of understanding what Kaufman was saying, although I don't agree with going like super hard like right wing or whatever, but making the party like inhospitable to these kinds of people is probably the only way that you get them to leave, right?
No, there's definitely something to that. I mean,
Yeah.
I was watching I was watching one of you guys' podcasts, and you were saying like the Open Carry podcast or something like that, and I was like, oh my god, I love that. But because you guys were talking about Otto, you were talking about like your vacation, and you're like
open
you were
carrying
walking
alcohol.
around with like
Yeah.
your
I was talking
open
about how
or one of you guys was like, oh, you're like open carrying your
That was me. I was like, open carrying
okay,
alcohol.
so I kind of just I went on like an I think I was having I think I had an edible too when I was watching, so that just took me down
the perfect way to watch.
existential
Yeah.
journey of like, open carry is an attitude. And so like one of the things like with New Hampshire, I'm always like, you guys just have to open carry everywhere. Like it really is a brilliant strategy, because one, you can do it, and two, you bother the right people, like the people that, so it's kind of this attitude of like the open carry attitude of like, you do have to, because that's part of shifting the culture. So, you have to have an open carry attitude in a way, and let people know like, yep, no, this is the energy that I'm bringing. And it's not, you're not physically hurting anyone, but it's definitely people realize it right away. Like whether it's like you're wearing something or what it is you're doing or what have you, but open carry attitude goes a long way.
Brian says, my take, the people who are screeching are the true autists who cannot have binary, or I don't know. Brian.
Yeah.
Autist to cannot
Yeah.
cannot had a,
Read.
Two cannot have binary thinking. They
Brian's
have
been drinking.
They have become so fixed on libertarian
it's
principles they
Friendsgiving.
can't even operate in a political society. Yes.
And I
know.
question if it's like libertarian principles, because some of these people don't, they have a hard
Uh-huh.
time with private property rights.
Right.
So, like, what are we? Sometimes it's just real utopian out there stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to there was an individual in Maryland where like, dude, you
Yeah.
don't come around for a while. And he's like, what
Told him.
the party is peace speech. It's like you called my fiance the N-word, like not directly to her, but he was just like speaking like out loud, and it was at one of our members like bar, like place of
That's
business.
just rude.
And one of his customers just had to be in earshot too. Neither one took offense, but it was obviously my fiance was like, yo, what the fuck, like what the fuck, and he was like,
What you mean is she didn't slap the shit out of him right then and there.
oh well Doug called him out. I was kind of like, what the fuck? She was kind of like, what the fuck? And yeah, but it was just like, but he was like, oh, we're the party of free speech, and it's like, yeah, but it has consequences, bro. Like you can't just
He's also been like
Well,
really
freedom of speech is just like that's just a constitutional Bill of Rights thing, right? Like
yeah.
that just says like, okay, if you're in a public setting, like the government can't limit your speech or whatever, right? It doesn't mean there's no consequences for your speech. It doesn't mean whatever. And censorship is a completely different thing, right?
Yeah.
Censorship is like a more concerted effort to silence opposing viewpoints. It's just like a different issue, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, but it was just there needs to be, to Olga's point, like more consequent, like just like shifting the culture and just be like, nah.
He wasn't even that. Like he's not even like this Lulbert type. He's just a weird, awkward.
He's just a weirdo.
Yeah, like
He's
weirdos.
just-
We
he
got to
was
stop.
creepy.
Like,
He was
Yeah.
kind of
Make it inhospitable to weirdos.
He was kind of creepy to women. He also
Make
was,
weirdos scared again.
yeah, it was like a
Dude.
final straw. It was like, dude, like you're out of line, and this is
yeah,
it.
he was
like,
really
be
like
gone.
this. He like snapped his fingers at a waitress, like just to come on, come on. He'd snap his fingers and just like, waitress, come on, come here, and he just started doing this shit. And then and that was like the first time I met him. He was doing that, and he's been doing it for years. And eventually, it's just like, don't come, do not come,
Do not come.
Do not come.
right?
Is that what she said to Mayor Brown?
Yeah.
Well, but
Uh,
speaking
You
of
guys
comedy,
see
yeah.
a recent video of her?
I think we have it
gotta-
here.
We do.
Man,
have it.
Yeah.
She aged like 10 years in like 2 weeks.
Do you want to play this? Let's play this on the way out. Or do you guys want to play this?
On the way out? Oh, it's already
Yeah.
we're already an hour. Damn.
Yeah, we gotta take this. We gotta come in the overflow room.
Gotta come in the overflow.
I'm gonna come in the overflow room.
All right, let's play us out with Kamala here. Oh,
Oh my
stop.
lord.
wow, this is 9 minutes long.
Oh no, that's the full video. Don't play the full video.
No.
Who's got the bits and
There's
the
a
good bits?
clip. There's a
Uh,
clip in there.
I think what happened is they hate her now, so they're not
No.
even doing like a good filter for her.
Hold on. I'll send it over to you. I have
This
it.
looks-
Well, that's
Sped
a
up.
3 minute. Yeah, that's 3 minutes. Or you want it even shorter?
I think it's sped up though.
An extraordinary leader, and we have
Yeah, it's sped up.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
Yeah,
this one's just.
this one's that.
All right, let's see this one.
Yeah, that's it right there.
courtesy of Hennessy.
All right.
Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I literally.
So wait, where's the part where she begs for money though?
Yeah, that's
Um,
yeah.
So
I was literally
Jared,
having
in the
I was-
chat
Show
there.
shredding
This
guitar.
chaos, that is crazy.
I had a conversation with my kids. Like I didn't realize I was drinking, and like I didn't realize how much it caught up to me until I got home, and I was sitting there in the kitchen, just like,
Okay, here
oh
we go.
boy, and like my daughter couldn't sleep, so I hit her with that. I was just like talking to her like, just like old vice president, just going at her, just like just talking about life, and it was just like that, man.
Oh my God.
Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion from grassroots supporters alone.
Yeah,
The
sure.
most in presidential campaign history. Because of your efforts,
Because of
need
your
more.
efforts. Dude,
I know.
$1.4 billion to lose epically. Popular vote, electoral college. Pretty much. Did you see that graphic that Elon put up? I mean, Democrats are so insufferable the past 4 years that pretty much every state, not that I'm advocating for the Republican Party, but like they've gone red. They've
Yeah.
all went red.
Even
There was
Vermont
no
went
increases
purple.
in what's that?
Wow.
Vermont went purple.
Wow.
We're
Yeah.
slightly purple. We flipped some seats in our state house. The entire North Country of Vermont voted red.
Yeah.
So like my county and all the other northern county, because they're all on the border, and the borders stuff is crazy what's happening.
They're all coming from Canada, right?
Yeah, and it's just a lot of human trafficking, and it's hunting season, so everyone's got their game cams on.
And they
So
see
now
it.
we're seeing like all of these videos of just like tons of like, you know, military aged men just crossing over with young kids, with young women, and all types of crazy stuff happening. So for people just were like, F it. Because the Republican Party here is crappy. There's a lot of like, they hate Trump, a lot of the institutional
Same
people
here in Maryland.
But yeah, so it's really, but I was just like, oh wow, we got, you know, we flipped some seats, but you know, we'll see what happens. I don't anticipate anything major, because even though our governor's a Republican, he's like, I voted for Kamala. He's one of those.
No.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
That was, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for jumping on with us, Olga. Last minute, you know, night before Thanksgiving. So
I know.
really hope you guys
I
have a
felt
great
so bad because you
Thanksgiving.
invited me before, and there's always something going on, and I was like, oh, I want to jump on, or talk with you guys, talk about all the BS happening. But I feel, you know, I still feel kind of, you know, like I feel like good things are happening too. I just like overall, generally, you know, it's easy to get weighed down with like these idiots, but for the most part, it's like a lot of good stuff is happening. I think we definitely missed a bullet, like had the election gone another way. I think it would have been just so much worse. So I think even to like Dave Smith makes this point, is like we've won in a lot of ways, like just by not electing her. Like people have to acknowledge to a large degree, like that would have been way worse.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. So
Yep.
cool. Well, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too, guys. Thanks for the
Thankful
invite.
for all of you and our listeners. So yeah, we're gonna do the after hours now.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go do that. And if you guys want to check out our after hours podcast, you can sign up for our Patreon over at patreon.com/punkrocklibertarians. You guys can sign up for as little as $3 a month. You get access to the live podcast we're going to record right now. We'll send you a link and you can join in and ask us questions and talk to us. And yeah, you also get access to the back catalog of episodes too as well. We also have other ways to donate to the show over at PRLfans.com. We also have t-shirts for sale over at libertariancountry.com. If you use the code PRL or PRL podcast, you get a 10% discount. If you use the code PRL2, you'll spend $50 or more, which I know you will because Black Friday sales are already going on. And you get yourself a 20% discount. So until next time, live free
Or die.